So, question I have for you, Jordan, is what are challenges and common mistakes associated with mortality experiments?
So some of the challenges, we'll start with that and help to identify and understand why mortality and observing differences in mortality from the science perspective is just so challenging. The first of that is, in general, and as a production system and as producers and scientists, we want mortality to be a relatively low event. We don't want mortality to occur commonly. And being a relatively infrequent event, in some examples, the after weaning, the post-weaning mortality average in the U.S. industry, about 8%. So overall, that's still a pretty infrequent event.
Right.
And so in a research setting where we have 20 to 30 pigs per pen and over somewhat limited time frames, that relatively rare event often doesn't separate out, and we don't really see nice responses simply because we don't see all that much mortality, which isn't a bad thing by any means from a production standpoint, exactly. But certainly when we're thinking about it from an experimental standpoint, right. Is one of the challenges.
Hard to interpret sometimes, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Very good.
So one of the other challenges would be that in going back through the peer-reviewed literature, what we see, mortality is quite frequently described and reported in those, and they're an important part of those studies, whether they're nutritional, management, or other. But in a lot of cases, the mortality wasn't the primary objective of that study. Right. One example would be evaluating the impact of particle size of ground corn fed to finishing pigs. Mm-hmm. The researchers in many cases do the study to evaluate the impact on growth performance. Mm-hmm. They also hypothesized that there could be some differences in mortality and measure and report those values. Mm-hmm. But the design from a sample size standpoint and from a conducting the study standpoint oftentimes doesn't have mortality as one of the primary outcomes.
Right.